Focus on me. I am the focus. Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Khamotomo Ahi. If you are new here, welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you again for tuning in. I know it's been forever since I shot a YouTube video, but that is because a very unfortunate event occurred at the end of 2022. I'm not going to be long on this video because it's quite emotional for me and I am not trying to be crying up in here. So last year September, my husband and I found out that, well, I had my suspicions. He had a tumor on his thigh and it was massive. It was quite big and I was so disappointed that how can he let like a growth grow beyond the size that it was. I mean, it was roughly 7 to 8 centimeters when I discovered it. And as soon as I assessed it, I said to him, this feels like a cancerous tumor and you need to see a doctor urgently. Long story short, we saw the doctor. He was referred to a hospital, a certain government hospital, and then they gave him the runaround. So a good 2 months he was just in and out of hospital. They refused to admit him. They refused to do further tests. They just kept on doing one test after 2 weeks, the other test after 3 weeks, and even booked him for a lumbar puncture. I remember the spinal procedure. They booked for a lumbar puncture for this year April. Imagine how long is the queue. Anyway, so because we saw that he's not getting any better and that he keeps on getting the same medication every time he goes to the certain hospital, we went back to our family doctor and we told him to write a referral letter to a different hospital. So we got a different referral letter and we went to this other government institution where he was admitted immediately. I remember I drove him there because he had such terrible backache that he couldn't even drive anymore. So I took him to this hospital and he was admitted early hours of the following morning, which was the 7th of December. So he was admitted for a good 2.5 weeks. Yes, he finished that week because I think it was on a Tuesday or Wednesday, somewhere there, the 7th of December. So he was admitted, tests were done, and a couple of days into the hospital they did an abdominal sonar and they found that he's got 7 tumors in his liver. We call it liver mets. It's a form of cancer that has metastasized to the liver, so it normally stems from somewhere before it gets to the liver. So it got to his liver and it caused havoc, and hence he had these terrible back aches, lower back aches, and they used to keep him up at night, you know. And I was glad that he went to this other institution because they took it upon themselves to do the tests immediately, and they admitted him, put him on drips. So the first week he was able to do everything by himself, like go to the bathroom, bath himself and everything. But he was slowly deteriorating, and I remember after a week of admission, he sent me a message, passwords, pins to his everything, and said to me, please look after our kids, this pain is gonna kill me. I actually cried when I read that message, and I said, I called him immediately. I immediately called him. I said, what do you mean? Why are you sending pins of everything? Why? Are you already giving up on this? He says to me, you know what? I'm not as strong as you. And I know you're going to do a good job with our kids. So please just look after the kids. This pain is killing me. I'd rather tell you now while it's still early. Little did I know that the second week he's gonna deteriorate. So he even had a condition called septicemia, which pretty much blood infection. So he was put on antibiotics via drip, but he was not responding. So his infection markers kept on going up, and it started causing confusion as well, obviously. So the second week, it was the 19th on a Tuesday. I remember when the doctors wanted to, his treating doctor actually called me in to tell me that there's nothing much they can do for him. They're just keeping him for observations and seeing how he's gonna do, you know. And he told me that he's even too weak to start chemo because he was just bad. He was too weak. He was wasted. I think the second week he just took a dip. Like he took a dip, and he gave up. He gave up. He was one person who was never in hospital. He never got sick, and suddenly, boom! 2 weeks of admission. There's no turning back. So on that 19th, on a Tuesday, the doctor told me that there's nothing we can do here. You can just come every day and see your husband. And we advise that you take his cell phones because he's quite confused. He's in and out of it. So fine, after seeing the doctor, I went to his cubicle, and when I found him there, he was out of it. And one of his phones were on the floor and the other one behind him on the bed. And I woke him up. I said, "Are you doing this to me? Are you seriously doing this to me?" He said, "No, I'm just tired. I want to sleep." I said to him, I just spoke to the doctor, and he suggests that I take your phones because they're going to get missing because you're a bit in and out of it. He said, "You know what, please just take everything. Take them, do whatever you want. I'm tired, I just want to sleep." I said, "Okay, no problem. Is there anything you'd like me to bring you?" All of that. So it was a norm for me to go to hospital on a daily every time I was not at work. So I was working the following day, and I couldn't really deliver my services to other patients because my husband is sick, for goodness sake. So I managed to pull through that day. However, I spoke to my manager and my HR at the time to say, can I get the rest of the year off because I cannot nurse other patients while I cannot nurse my husband. And seeing him in that state actually killed me. Like, it really, really, really broke my heart. I never thought I would see him in that condition ever, especially at such a young age. I mean, when he died, we were both 31. I just turned 32 about 2 weeks ago. So that Wednesday I knocked off, and I was granted the rest of the year off because I went to get a second opinion and third opinion on the prognosis of my husband, and I was told that he would be lucky to see Christmas. And on Friday the 23rd, he asked that I bring our daughter, our firstborn, and he said, please just bring it. I want her to see me, you know. And I mean, with oncology experience, I know that a dying cancer patient would feel themselves that they actually departing and would want to spend time with their loved ones a bit before they actually depart. So I just made peace with the fact that he's really losing the battle, and only God can sort this out, you know. So that Friday I took both our kids to hospital, and I asked him before I brought in our firstborn. I said to him, don't you want to see the little one, you know? And he had completely forgotten the little one. Like I said, this infection in his blood was causing a lot of confusion, and before I took in our daughter to see him, he confessed a lot of things that hopefully I'll talk about in a documentary that I'm gonna shoot. Horrible things that he finally saw light from, because this is not far off than the way we lost our son, you know what I mean? So He's confessed a lot of things and who did what and how I should do things moving forward and not to trust certain people. And then he said, okay, fine, you can bring in Letabo, our daughter. And I took Letabo in, and sure, she saw her dad in that state, and I was just quiet. Like, I didn't know what to do, what to say. I just said, here's your dad, my angel. He wanted to see you. And Chris couldn't talk at that time. After Letabo saw him, he became unresponsive. He was just out of it. Yeah, he just wanted to break spirit or air or whatever at that moment, but I guess it was not time, right? So after that visitation, we went back home, and I couldn't sleep that night. Seeing him like that, I felt like I could do more, but at the same time I knew that there's nothing much I can do. And after all the confessions as well, I was just like, anywho, Aretwera. So Saturday, Christmas Eve, I get a call at 5:44 from the hospital that he was at, and for the life of me, I am trying to listen to this nurse who's delivering a message to me, and the others are making so much noise in the background. And she says to me, am I speaking to Mrs. Moachi? I said, yeah, this is her speaking. And she says to me, it's Sister so-and-so from this and this hospital, ward what. I'm calling with regards to your husband. Unfortunately, he departed this morning. There was just a moment of silence, and she said to me, you saw that he's sick, right? And there was nothing much that could have been done. And all I could just ask was, what time did it happen? And she checked on the file, and she said the declaration was around 4:26. So they called me over an hour after the declaration of his death, and I asked the process of how they do things at the hospital, because it was on a weekend, and I knew very well that I'm not going to get his body at that time or even identify him. So so the sister that called me at the hospital said to me, no, you'll only get his body next week. It was on the 24th, Christmas Eve, and it was a long weekend, and they said you'll only get his body on the 28th of December, after the long weekend. And I went to identify his body on the 28th of December, and long story short, we laid him to rest on the 30th of December 2022. And I did the best I could to bury him with dignity and peace, because above everything that Chris was, he was a very peaceful man. And it's been tough. I've had to find so much courage to shoot this video. I thought losing my son was the worst thing, but this also, like, it's there in that level, and it hurts as much because I'm used to doing life with this person, and then suddenly he is just not there anymore. And he left his carbon copies, my daughters, who look exactly like him. And phew. Yes, guys, that's all for now. This is why I've been off YouTube for quite some time, but I'm back now, and do check out my next video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on this video. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your love and your prayers. I see the comments on social media. I love you guys. Thank you for the support. Thank you. Yeah, so I hope the next video won't be as tense as this one, because it's gonna be something a bit exciting. Yeah, so thank you for watching. Stay blessed.